It's recording.
Howdy. My name is Zach Stansell and we're at the USDA Vegetable Lab here in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'd like to walk you through a tutorial of how we process fresh heads for freeze drying. Today we harvested our first heads in the field. Notice how uniform they are. We shot for about 4 to 5 centimeters wide.
Inches.
Yes, sorry. Thinking metric. And a length of 16 centimeters long. And notice how uniform they are. They're all kind of were ready at the same time, and we took a representative 3 heads. Since the field will mature at different plots will mature at different times, we rarely anticipate having too terribly many samples, which is good because we don't want them to spend a long time after being cut before being into the -80. So let me just simply walk you through the procedure. How we've labeled our sample bags are with a code. BT11 stands for Broccoli Trial 2011, and this numeral represents phase 1. S4 is our location here in Charleston. Obviously it will be unique for every one of you guys watching this. P1 stands for Planting 1. R2 stands for Rep 2. And L is line number. This happens to be line number 5, all of which matured and were harvested today. So our procedure is somewhat like this. You may probably need to tweak it somewhat depending on what plots you have or what your setup is like. The first thing I do is remove some excess leaf material that we will not include in the sample, and then cut off the bulk of the stem. Our target is to collect approximately 100 gram fresh weight sample for freeze drying that is representative of the entire crown of the broccoli. So over here I have a scale and a weigh boat, which I will tear. How we found to get the desired amount in the weigh boat is to pick 1 floret and then discard 2. I'm working in a concentric ring around the broccoli and trying to not put bias on what I select. So my target right here, I'd like to get about roughly 70 grams into this weigh boat. When I get to the end, I'll cut here, and I'm over. So if you do happen to go over, probably the most logical place to remove some sample is around this crown. That's 72 grams, that's close enough. So now you can either discard this or save it for a stir fry, is what I would recommend. And I'm going to proceed through the other 2 heads in approximately the same way. My sample's a little high. I'm just going to take a little bit off. 71 grams is pretty good. Still a little high. $72. Now this is approximately 210 grams. And an important trick to use when freeze drying is you want to maximize surface area. And this waxy cuticle sort of inhibits water loss. So if you don't split every stem in half, you'll have a very difficult time freeze drying. So what I'm going to do is try to approximately divide my sample in half with a target of about 100 grams. Remember to curl your fingers so you don't get any unnecessary cuts. I feel like I'm on a cooking show. So I'm just going to test and make sure that I've done a decent job of dividing this sample. $105 grams, close enough. I'm going to temporarily store the sample in a -20 freezer close to our preparation site. And when we're done processing for the day, I'm going to load all of these samples into an ice cube and carry them on ice up to the -80 freezer. I believe that's everything you need to know, and best of luck on your projects, and see you later.